It's time to start DIshin Days with your hosts, Tony Moore, Michael Mattis, Justin Lee Hareld, and Araceli Aviles. And now, let's dish. Surprise! The bitch is back! Welcome, everybody. It's DIshin Days, where we're serving up a full dish of this week's episodes of Peacock's exclusive #1 award-winning hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. Welcome, everybody. If you are watching us live, we are so excited that you're here to chat with us. And if you're watching and listening later, hey, we appreciate you too. But we would appreciate it more if you head on over to our social media and follow us over there. We are DIshin Days Show on Facebook, DIshin Days on Instagram, and DIshin Days on Twitter. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're watching us live on YouTube, just go ahead and click that subscribe button. Also, hit the bell notification so that way you'll never miss a live and in living color broadcast near you. Also, we're on your favorite podcast stations. We are on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. So make sure you look up DIshin Days and take us along on that long road trip, that airplane ride in the sky, or that wonderful run or walk on a treadmill or hike. And I now know for sure that there are people who do that. I have now met a couple of people who have said, I listen to you on my way to work, I listen to you when I'm at the gym, or I listen to you. Yeah, those were the two. Those were
the two people.
The two, yeah. But each time I've been like, oh, so I am talking to you. So whenever I say, take us along that long car ride or that walk on the treadmill, I know who I'm talking to. Aww. Find us there. Also, make sure you buy our merch. We still got merch available. We have these lovely logos available on many different apparels like shirts, sweatshirts, beach towels, mugs, any and everything that you would like featuring our DIshin Days merch. You can find at dishindays.threadless.com, and make sure you are serving up some category is DIshin Days realness merchandise all over your body. All right. And also make sure you show some love to our lovely friends of the show and my chocolate twin and former co-host James Lott Jr., who has his own YouTube channel stock full of all kinds of drama for you. He is giving you original audio dramas and recaps of Young and the Restless and Bold and the Beautiful. So make sure you head over to JLJ Media on the YouTubes and say hello to my chocolate twin, James Lott Jr. Show him some love. All right. I'm so glad I remembered how to do that because I've been away. I've been around the world and I still can't find my baby. But I found y'all. How's it going, peeps? Did you guys survive without me? I was a little worried. I tuned in every now and then just to make sure everything was on the up and up. I have notes.
Yeah, somehow we managed to get by talking about Days of Our Lives for an hour and a half without you. Somehow we managed.
I mean, there was that one show where I was very hungover, but we managed.
Oh, as you said many a times that show. Oh, guys, I'm so sorry. I'm so tired. I was like, get it together. Well, what did we think about this week's episodes of Days?
This was a good week. I enjoyed a lot about this week. It was very engaging. I wasn't distracted easily this week. So that's always a good sign.
Yeah, we know Michael Mattis has the attention span of a Bimby.
What? What'd you say?
I said we all know Michael Mattis has the attention span of a Bimby.
What?
See? I hate you so much, Michael Mattis. I hate you.
It was a good week. I liked it. Yeah, there was a lot going on. Now that I forget sometimes as the week goes, and then I review it and I'm like, oh, a lot did happen this week.
Yeah, a lot, and that's the thing. A lot happened this week. It was one of those weeks where I think everybody pretty much. Actually, no, I don't think. No, everybody.
Almost everyone got.
Everybody wasn't on, but a lot of people were on.
Yeah, it was more that we got movement, and I think we got a lot of thoughtful conversation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. That was the big thing. A lot of times you'll have weeks where there's these conversations happen, but it doesn't move anything along. It's just like they had the conversation, it's done, nothing really moves along. This week there was a lot of talks that kind of moved things along a little bit. So
Well, we like when things move along because
we do like when things
there was one thing that I was like, thank God this is over and done with. But I thought it was a great week. I thought it was a fun week. I thought, there were definitely some funny moments, but also some very like, oh wow, moments. So
this was good soap opera week.
yeah, I mean, I feel like again, right before the return of Bo and Hope, Ron did an interview with Soap Opera Digest and said that this is going to feel like the good old days, and I really think it does have that feel to it. So I think he was right. So
Yeah.
with that being said, it's now time for our favorite part of the show and the one that we struggle with the most. I don't think this is just going to show anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. It is now time to start
DIshin
DIshin
Days.
Days. That was as close as we're going to get it. If Araceli did not have that sip of wine before and drug out DIshin Days, we probably would have all got it.
Wow.
It was the wine.
No,
What do you have, a whole charcuterie board over there?
Actually, yeah.
What
She got a
is the
Lunchables that she spread out on a cutting board.
Oh
I
my
had
gosh.
Dumped it
look. It was one of those rare weekends where I have no responsibility to anyone but myself. I am taking
Oh.
full advantage.
Respect.
Well, live your life, honey. Well, let's get into our top storylines, and we'll start with Hope finally finds Bo, but the fans will still
Maybe.
What do we think about this week's episodes? I mean, this storyline.
The story.
Sorry.
This storyline.
It's slipping. I almost forgot how to host the show. What do we think about this moment?
I liked how everything kind of led up to Friday this week.
Yeah.
And everybody kind of it just sewed very nicely to most of it. I could have done without one part, which we'll talk about when we get to it, but
Right.
no shade to anybody. But yeah, I thought it was just it all led up to the big, Bo and Hope, or Hope and Bo finally coming face to face with each other.
There was a moment when Bo walked in and saw Hope, and I felt this a number of times, where I feel like in his mind he's really thinking, damn, can y'all people just leave me alone? Like that's what I kept feeling.
Yeah.
Like every time someone new would pop up, I just felt like Bo was like, damn it, like can
Leave the girl alone.
Yeah.
It's like, can I just execute a plan by myself without all y'all like popping up and messing it up?
Yeah. But here's the thing I don't think that people give veteran actors enough credit for is that, specifically soap actors, the ones that we revere have played the same role for 20, 30, 40, sometimes 50 plus years. And it's the thing of how do you continue to make that character feel organic when the audience has watched you for so long that they almost feel like they know your movements better than you do.
But here's the interesting thing about this go around, and what I actually appreciate that they did was that they didn't just bring back Bo. They were able to recreate a new Bo. A Bo with the same foundation, because we know that underliningly the Bo that we know and love is still there. But it allowed Peter Reckle to actually come in and go, you know what? I don't have to like play this Bo has been like frozen for the past 10 years. When the Bo, you know what I mean? And now I have to come back and be Bo. It's like, no, I can kind of reinvent what this Bo is like and what he's been like since. You know what I mean?
And I like this Bo. Like I said it from the beginning. I was like, I like this Bo. Like at first he was kind of like Forrest Gumpish, but then he, kind of snapped out of it and became like maniac Bo. But I was still like, oh, I like this Bo. He's got an edge to him, and
I think
he
he's an
doesn't,
ass.
Well,
he is.
That's what you're
However,
supposed to think.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I enjoyed this Bo more than my issue with Bo when he was on before as a character. My issue with him was he was always so self-righteous and always looked down on people that did like anything bad or didn't live up to that kind of Brady standard that they kind of discussed this week, that he's now in his scrambled brain rebelling against. So it's nice to see him kind of with an edge. I know it's probably not gonna last, but and I think he's doing a good job. I think he's doing a good job of being Bo, but having that edge to him.
Yeah. Sorry, before I switch, Araceli and Justin, your thoughts about Bo in the reunited.
I was going to say, similar to what was said, this is what attracts veteran actors to come back to a character. Like, as much as people in the discourse have been, I guess, complaining about it's taken too long, I guess, or I don't read that stuff, but I guess getting them together is made people impatient. But this is what brings people back. No one wants to come back and play a character that they left playing for whatever reason to just play the same character. So these things that sometimes the fans may not like, this is what actually brings the person back to the show to begin with. So just sit back, enjoy it, and trust in it.
Well, you need the storylines that give you impact, that make you feel like you want to come to work every day. And I'm sorry, the stuff that Peter Reckle was getting those last few years he was on was not it. I literally couldn't tell you one storyline that happened.
I know. I was about to ask, like, what
I can't remember.
I know Carly came back for a minute, and
like, I think that Christian Alfonso got really great stuff after he left, because she had to deal with raising Sierra on her own, the whole Aiden stuff, and then Rafe, and then Sierra
still
brought
mad
back
about the Aiden stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we all are, but that's neither here nor there. But it was still great material for her to play. But Peter Rucker was not given great material, I think, like post 2010. I could not tell you one storyline that he was in. This is just so great for him. And then, like, yes, he's Bo with an edge, but that it makes it such more impactful when you see those glimmers of old Bo. And it happens when it's quick. Specifically when it's quick, when Kayla like grabbed him by the collar, and when he first saw Hope and he jumped back, like those were very quick moments, but they were impactful.
Yeah, and he emoted so well, like you could tell, like his face changed. You could tell when he was kind of coming out, when he was about to like almost come out of it, but then immediately go back in.
Yeah, especially with the mention of the new grandchild that sort of affected him.
Well, I feel like each conversation has affected him, and it went back to Kate. Like when he was talking to Kate, and Kate was saying all this stuff, and I think it really got to him. But I think he's just really pushing, like, no, I don't want to be this Bo Brady. I want to be Bo Kyriakis. And so he's like, I've been there, done that in this lifetime. Now I have the opportunity to like forge my own path instead of having a path created for me. I'm going to go this way, and this is what I'm going to do. But every now and then, those little conversations like Kate had with him, like Kayla has had with him, like has really kind of put him in a mode of like, it's almost like the Brady part of him is like, I'm coming back. You know what I mean? And he like pushes him back to like, to wherever. I will say my frustrating moment where I was like, if you don't just say it, was Harris. I was like, listen, you have had this interaction with Bo, and it's like, I get it. He's like, listen, just let her move on. Y'all have fun. I'm going over here. Like, I don't want her finding me and her coming over here like, oh my God, Bo, I love you so much, I miss you. Like, I don't need that. Like, I'm over here trying to like get this serum so that I can like sell it, and I can have like, billions of dollars in my name, and let everybody know that Bo Brady Kyriakis, whatever name he's going to end up is the one that did it. Boom, boom, boom. Like, I don't need her over here messing this up. But I saw the struggle that Harris was having. And I was just like, girl, just tell her. Just tell her. Like, there's so many people that are affected within you not saying
Mhm.
that you saw Bo. But what I find interesting though is that he didn't tell her. He just said, "Go. You have to go find this for yourself." So it
Yeah.
wasn't like a oh, I don't believe you kind of a thing. It's like
Mhm.
I think it's one of those things where you have to go and discover this for yourself because
Yep.
I can't be the one to tell you.
Yeah.
And those were the parts that I got really frustrated with. I was really frustrated with that situation too, Tony. But for the reason that when he made that deal with Bo, it didn't feel organic to the character. And I know, and at this point, I feel like we do know Harris. If you knew him, if you watched Beyond Salem, and if you watched him since then, I think you have an understanding of who Harris is as a character. That decision did not feel organic to Harris's character. It felt forced. And
Really?
then
I
thought
didn't
it felt
think so.
forced.
I didn't think so.
I
didn't
thought
think
it felt
so. I
forced
felt
because
like
everything we know of his character is that he's a man of honor.
But we saw him struggle with, he's like, okay, do I respect Bo's wishes and not tell Hope?
Yeah,
and then
but
just do it, and then but we saw that struggle.
far.
Like
It's
if we
too
didn't see
far.
that struggle, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think it just went
Just
a
my
little
opinion.
too far. Like, yeah, like I felt like it would have been more informed with the character for him to do a bait and switch, for him to tell Bo that to lie to Bo, tell him that they have a deal, and then go back to Hope and say, immediately, like, I did find something, but you need to go and find this for yourself.
But here's where what I think you both are feeling is imagine being put in this situation where you have Bo's wishes of don't tell her. You have your own selfishness of like, I don't want to tell her because that's the love of her life and then I'm gonna lose her. But then it's like if I don't but then it's like if I don't tell what I saw, then there's not only the discovery that Bo is alive, but also there are two other people who are in danger as well, Steve and Kayla. So it's kind of like I feel like you both feel probably what Harris was feeling was I want to tell her, but there's so many, but like I want to honor what he's saying because it makes sense, but then I can't be selfish, but there are people in danger. So it's like it was such a pull it. I'm so glad that you couldn't see how I was pulling because, but it was like a push and pull.
Yeah.
You know?
It was.
So
I thought it was fine. I actually, to me, it made sense, the duration of it, because it was from basically nighttime or mid.
It was an overnight thing. Yeah, he only kept
Yeah.
it like overnight. He didn't keep the secret that long.
I thought that was fair. I think if he had kept it longer than that, or if it was weeks or something like that, that would be weird. But I thought this was an appropriate amount of time, considering everything you just mentioned, Tony, what was going through his head. And yeah, I mean, we know him to be an honorable guy, but he's also been through a lot the last few years.
Yeah.
And is sort of coming out of that and still trying to get his bearings a bit, I feel like.
And again, I could tell it wasn't easy for him to keep that. He struggled. You could tell he was struggling with it. So that's what sold it for me.
Yeah. Oh, hold on.
Oh.
I forgot to close the door. Yes, struggle. Heard it. Got it. All right. Oh wait, what was I gonna say? Oh, I was gonna move on to Steve, Kayla, Stephanie, and Chad part of it.
Was that really Eileen?
That was really Eileen Davidson.
Yeah.
Okay.
As Thomas.
I generally couldn't tell.
Which
for what? Is that what you for what?
I mean, honestly, like Tony's reaction right now was my reaction to that whole part of the week.
It was cute to see her kind of maybe sort of, I guess.
This did not have, and no shade to Eileen, because she did, I did chuckle a lot when she was on as Thomas. It was pretty funny. But this, the Eileen Davidson comes back, the impact of that for this moment just wasn't there. And I understand, like, it was good that they, because they thought that the character was they thought that Thomas was the one that had Steve and Kayla. So obviously they needed to get him in order to prove that he didn't, so that it could come out that Bo actually does. But you know, it was just kind of meh.
Okay.
It did make me laugh a couple times, though. I will say that Eileen still had gave me some chuckles.
Or like the behind the scenes stuff.
Oh yeah, and the little dance on the Instagram.
Oh yeah. Here's the thing. I love Eileen Davidson.
We all love Eileen. Everyone knows that.
But my question is, what is the problem with Stacey filling in these roles and characters? She has already done a phenomenal job as Kristen. She's already done a phenomenal job as Susan. But I don't think she hasn't played anyone else. Like everyone else, like Sister Maura was Eileen Davidson. Thomas was Eileen Davidson because they were in Beyond Salem. But it's kind of like, you know, just for this moment, you know, I wonder what would be the issue of Stacey stepping into that. And I think as fans, you know, we get excited to have Eileen back in any capacity. But then also as someone who has who also likes and appreciates what Stacey is doing, it's kind of like, but why can't we just allow this talented actress to step into these other characters that were, you know, created during Eileen's reign as Kristen? But if she's already doing a great job, then why not have her just play it? Because I honestly, I saw the interaction with Thomas and Chad and Stephanie, and I had a few chuckles, but I don't quite remember it. And I mean, I think it was after like a meal, and after a meal I get a little full and I get the itis, and then like I start like kind of drifting off a little bit. But you know what I mean? Like you know, I just,
if you're going to bring in an A-list actor who originated the roles, who give her more meat to work with, or have it be serving a purpose. In Beyond Salem, it served a purpose. It does not serve a purpose here, especially if it's going to be for one episode.
Right.
See, I actually don't mind Eileen taking on the other characters, because I think they finally, from now on, or at least maybe the last Beyond Salem, they've made a definitive line in the sand that Stacey is Kristen and Susan now. And we don't see Eileen playing that outside of like the dream part of Beyond Salem when she was trying to seduce John. So that was more, I feel like, a one-off.
No. Didn't
she was Devil Kristen?
Yeah, she was Devil. She was
Devil Kristen.
Oh, that was for like 2 or 3 episodes.
Wasn't she Devil Susan? Didn't she come back as Susan too?
She was Devil. No, she was Devil Kristen.
That's what I meant. Sorry, I said Beyond Salem, but that's what I meant.
But you see, but like that served a very specific purpose. That was for a very specific storyline. It was meant to torture and impact John. Same thing when they brought her back for Beyond Salem Christmas. You know, again, these are special events. They serve a purpose. This didn't really hit that well.
But I feel like
it just didn't hit. And I think sorry, Justin, I didn't mean to interrupt. I think another reason it didn't hit is because of all of the bigger shit going on around it. You know what I mean? Like Bo and Hope reuniting kind of stifles that a little bit, like that excitement. But I mean, it did serve a purpose for the story. They had to, like I said, they had to catch Thomas to do it. Why they didn't have Stacey try to take on Thomas, don't know. They brought Eileen back. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they feel like they're working Stacey too hard. I don't know.
But they didn't mind working Eileen that hard, Marcy that hard. Like,
well, remember that's why Eileen left, so maybe that's an issue too that they're keeping at the forefront of. I mean, it's not the same thing as it was in the '90s, where she's on every day playing 4 different characters.
It wasn't like, and I don't get me wrong, it wasn't like a complete miss for me. It just didn't, it wasn't as impactful as you would expect it to be.
Yeah, like I said, I don't mind if because I said like I feel like they're leaving. Not Kristen. Yeah, they're leaving Kristen and Susan to Stacy, and I feel like everyone else is Eileen, which I'm fine with. I just think the scene was lackluster. I'm totally fine with Eileen coming back and playing Sister Mary Moira or playing Thomas or or not dead Penelope. That's fine. I don't care about that. They're just the scene just wasn't good to me. What?
I forgot about Penelope.
Yeah, the scene just wasn't good for me. Like I don't have a problem with her playing it. Just the scene wasn't good.
I think for me when it's beyond Salem and and Eileen comes back, I think I'm cool with. I think what then, if I'm being honest and saying this nicely, because I have nothing against Eileen, and as a fan, yes, it's nostalgic, but I just kind of feel like is every time an opportunity comes. Is it always let's bring Eileen back for the fans and for nostalgia? You know what I mean? Like why?
I think it's just for nostalgia. Like there is no risk to Stacy's job security. She's doing a great job. Eileen is pulling. She's on pretty frequently over on Y&R, and that's what the pace that she's comfortable with. This is just. It's just specials. People want to work. People want to come in and say hi from time to time. It's just us as an audience would like to say, hey, yes, we want to see you. We'll see you at fan events. We'll see you all the on social media all the time. But if you're going to come back to the show just for like a 1 or 2 day stint, at least make it impactful. Have it serve a purpose.
But I don't. But it's not even that. It's like just have the actress that you've hired to fill the role of Kristen and all the things Kristen portray it. Like I appreciate the nostalgia in Beyond Salem, and I appreciate when Eileen is seen on Days, but it's kind of the fact of the matter is like Stacey's there, and I think I think she can serve the purpose of those characters just as well as Eileen can. Because I'm pretty sure if Stacey did it, I mean, the scene was, we would probably still say the same thing about the scene, but now it's kind of that point of like.
Plus, Stacey plays Susan, who is Thomas's brother, so another reason it would make sense. Yeah,
so I don't know. That's just my thought about it. I just and now I'm curious to see like how Stacey would have done it if she had the opportunity to do it. So, but nothing against Eileen. I don't want anyone to be like, oh, you just hate Eileen. I don't. I love Eileen.
Everybody knows that. We have made it very clear how we feel about Eileen David.
Yeah,
she is
I mean, hell, I made it clear to Stacy when I first met her how I felt about Eileen. And it's a story that every time Stacy and I are around each other, it's like, well, remember. You were not feeling me, and I was like, I was not. But
I can attest this. I've actually heard this several times.
Yep. But when she opened that door, and she was Susan, and I heard the voice and the man, I said, oh, okay, she's got it.
Yep.
So that's it. But pulling in for nostalgia, it's like it's great the first time. It's kind of like all right the second time. Third time is like all right, girls. Like, do we need to? So anyway. I chuckled when Stephanie and Chad finally found the lab,
the room. There's one. Oh, we haven't checked this. This place looks vacant. Oh, there's one more door left.
There's one more door.
I was just like,
and then there's Kayla like ready, and the whole time I was thinking like, oh my god, somebody, because I was like, Chad's gonna get hit,
gonna get beat.
But then when Chad then kind of like, well, when Stephanie made the motion of like, oh no, like don't kick it down. Like I'll just
Are they really
like,
gonna have Kayla bash Stephanie's head?
right? But I don't know if you guys noticed, but like once the reunite happened,
Yep.
you see Chad go.
Yeah. Even when he was walking past and did that little turn and saw Kayla, he was.
Yeah.
I was like, "That's Billy Flynn." I was like, "That is Billy Flynn." Yeah.
And the sigh of relief that he
Yeah.
did, that like he wasn't knocked out, that like they were okay. It was so funny to me. It was like,
like a natural reaction to someone who almost got their head bashed in to be like, "Oh, thank God I escaped," or "Thank God that didn't happen." Like,
yeah. Well, and I was glad that they were finally reunited, and that it just happened. I see some people are saying that it wasn't, it was anticlimactic and stuff, but sometimes it's just, think about this. What if that one was so big and drawn out, right?
Oh,
and then cut to Bo and Hope. It's like it's almost like you had to choose which one was going to be the most like dramatic one.
Yeah.
And I think they went with Bo and Hope.
I liked how in all. Sorry.
What? And Steve's still locked up, so it's like
Steve, poor Steve is still by himself.
We gotta get him out of
there. But at least and everything was happening concurrently. Like Chad and Stephanie found Kayla at the same time that Andrew, or that Megan told Andrew, and then Andrew was telling John and Marlena and Roman that it was Bo. Like the whole Bo is alive thing was all happening at once in the separate locations. I appreciated that. I appreciated that it wasn't like drawn out, that like it had to be like, oh, this happened first, then this happens later. It was all happening at the same time. And speaking of Andrew Donovan, Colton Little was really good on Friday.
Yes.
There was a moment I was like, oh, Andrew, take me to your prison.
You little nasty. I mean,
just like his intensity. I was like, oh, this is new. I think.
Well, this feels like Shane and Kimberly's son.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I also, I really hope that like we continue to see Andrew.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he could be beneficial to Salem, and and just like, I mean, even if it's permanent or even if it's just in and out, like I just hope that once this wraps up, we're not by Andrew again. You know what I mean?
I have been beating that drum,
something tells me that won't happen, but we'll see.
I don't care how infrequently, if they come back for like a week here or a week there, as we've said, the actors do it all the time, but it's like, I've been beating this drum. Bring back the Donovans. I want them back. I have it on good authority that Charles Shaughnessy is wrapping up at General Hospital. So let's get a move on here. I want
Mr. Sheffield.
I want the Donovans back.
Mr. Sheffield.
# bring the Donovans back.
Yes, I want them back.
Okay. All right. We heard you loud and clear.
What do we think about Thomas? Speaking of Thomas, his alibi.
Oh, no!
Wait,
don't
what?
Say it. Don't say it.
Thomas's alibi.
Don't say it. Oh my God.
He was getting freaky at an orgy.
Did you miss that part, though? He was at
that was like.
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
Andrew and Megan talked about it in there.
No.
First of all, it's kind of like you look at him and you go,
okay, but you've seen those documentaries about like swingers and those types.
Not that far-fetched.
They're not always the prettiest.
But look at Thomas Banks. Imagine this.
Remember, we got a good view. We got a good view of Thomas and Beyonce.
We did.
Remember?
We sure did.
I don't want to imagine.
Well, you don't have to imagine. You can just go to Beyond Salem and get a good old view. But Imagine being in the red room, soft lighting, mood music. The door opens, and there's Thomas Banks. Do you really think
I would
someone's going to be like,
turn around and want my cover charge back.
it's all talk about a record scratch, lights on, everybody get out kind of moment? Like that would be it.
Listen, some people may be into that. I
I
mean,
don't wanna know.
these orgies aren't filled with people who look like models. Like,
child. Anyway, so moving on from that, honey.
Please.
I do have to say, I was a little annoyed that Kristen was going to use the information about Bo
Yeah.
just to see Rachel, and I'm like, girl.
I know, like, well, that's Kristen's
Kristen
MO, of
Kristen.
course, and we're all like, oh, Kristen, and then Brady actually decided to buy it, and then she was like, well, I was wrong,
and now it's going to be that she was right because Megan,
yeah.
But she didn't say it. She didn't say that Bo. She figured it out that Bo was alive. She didn't tell Brady that was it. She told him like, "Oh, I was wrong."
Now, does it feel a little bit because I was always curious about how we've never really had a Demira sister interaction.
Mm-hmm.
It's always
sucks
been
that they're in jail for it too. That they can't be like.
No, I actually think
Demira
that
sisters
lines up
being
pretty
Demira-y.
well. They're still being pretty Demira-y even in prison.
No,
but I was
I
just always
know,
interested in how that interaction would play out. Would they be besties? Would they, be instant enemies? Considering Megan did steal the orchid, thus ending Kristen's plans for blackmailing Brady. Would Kristen capitulate to Megan? And I'm still kind of on the fence. I'm like,
Kristen could what now?
Yeah, I don't know that one.
Like just like fall in line with whatever Megan.
You said
is saying.
capitulate.
Capitulate.
That's what Thomas was doing at the orgy.
Words, Tony. Leave me alone.
I didn't say anything. I just wanted to.
Tone.
I just wanted to hear clearly what big word you were trying to use.
Capitulate. Buckle under to Megan's ideas. Maybe not like in an order way, but it does seem kind of like it went that way. Like Megan, like basically, who is the bigger master manipulator? As we said, like we've always seen the Demira brothers go back and forth over the years. We never had Demira sisters go like that. And so it was always curious to me about how that was going to happen.
I just feel like instantly it was like sister, I still don't trust you. Like there's not just never in a Demira clan do they trust each other. Like you know what I mean? It's like
there's always a little bit of like side eye or
it's very much like
this is true.
Especially since none of them really grew up with each other, so they don't have that to fall on. There's not that bond. It's like, okay, we have the same father, we're Demiras, but Stefano.
None of them grew up with Stefano.
Yeah,
none of them.
Exactly. I mean,
well, EJ kind of, sort of, but yeah.
I still can't believe that people are finding out that Marlena is alive.
Well, at least we got an explanation.
Disheveled Roman.
We got an explanation at least, which I was like for weeks I've been saying, where the hell is Roman? Because then it'll lead to the question of where the hell is Kate or Kate's body? We need answers, and the one person who actually pushes for answers is not there.
Mm-hmm. Maybe Josh Taylor was on vacation.
Who?
Josh Taylor.
Oh.
He plays Roman.
Yeah. Well, he was on vacation for too long because this was like driving me nuts.
Well, yeah, they explained why he was gone so long, so it's fine.
Wasn't he sprinkling Kate's ashes?
He sprinkled Kate's ashes, and then just kind of went rogue for a moment, and
he had to clear his mind.
Had some time. He lost his beloved. Needed some time. Needed some Roman time, and now he's back, and he was jet lagged, and he apparently had a late flight or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Now he comes back to Marlena floating in from the dead. Can y'all imagine living in Salem?
Right. What's
Like,
surprising is they're still surprised. Even
I
after,
know.
how many
Like
times has Marlena died in the last 40 years?
Yeah.
5, 6, 7, maybe?
I
every
really
5
feel
years,
for
pretty
Roman.
much.
I
The
really
bitch
feel
dies
for
and
Roman.
comes back.
At this
Y'all-
point, because Roman hasn't been there to kind of go through the steps of trying to find Megan, and everybody else seemed to go through a process of like trying to find Megan and then trying to find Kayla, and it seemed like everybody's kind of been a part of this process. Roman just right on
Dr.
cue.
Araceli's office.
Ignore.
Oh, you're
Anyway,
the office
anyways.
manager needs to answer that. That's 2 rings. 3 rings.
Anyways,
It's a 1-star review on Yelp for you.
Michael, let me finish my thought. Anyways, Roman just comes back from being off the grid for weeks, and all of a sudden, you know, Marlena's alive and Kayla's alive, but Kayla's been kidnapped and Kate was alive, and now Kate's dead, but then now Bo is alive after 10 years, and it's like he couldn't go through a process of learning this.
No,
it literally happened within the span of 30 minutes for him.
He comes back and it's like boom. But I will tell y'all this, and I don't know. Araceli and Justin, I don't think Michael, you may have heard this before, but at one point, I really wanted to start like a web show or some sort of alt series that was kind of like the Citizens of Salem.
Oh, you've talked about this, yeah.
And we each like can create our own character and just base it off of like what has happened during the week. That would compose like an episode and just depict what it would be like as a citizen of Salem reading like your therapist died. Kidding. She's back and available for appointments. You know what I mean? Like it's like
yeah.
Like how I just wish there you know maybe there's still an opportunity to do something like that. But I think that would be hilarious to have a web show that's like the Citizens of Salem, but like it's not it's really like us reacting to the most outlandish stuff that's happening in Salem. Like for example, this is a great segue to move to the next thing. From here on out, we will now be talking about the biscuit aftermath, which Michael Mattis has so kindly separated into the different storylines. So the remaining of our top storylines and into tidbits will be about the aftermath of the infamous Popeyes biscuits. It's so funny.
Were those Tony? Were those or were those not Popeyes biscuits?
No, okay. Actually, so here's the thing. I will.
You were here last week for that discussion.
I will look this up now. The second I saw a photo of Tina, who plays Melinda, she posted a photo of the here it is. She posted a photo of a scene, and she captioned it with "Today on at Days Peacock, these biscuits are hilariously dry." To which I replied, "Must have gotten them from Popeyes," laugh out loud, and she said, "Blasphemy." But I knew right away. I said, "Those are Popeyes biscuits."
The way they're shaped, the way they're shaped, and the way that they like come apart in the middle.
Yep.
And the size and everything.
Yep. Because no one went and got KFC biscuits because those are particular. No one went and baked Grand's biscuits. Those were someone went down the street and said, "Let me
Hollywood way, yeah.
Let me get 12 of your biscuits," and they just use them accordingly.
The amount of time that we have spent just analyzing biscuits on this show.
You didn't have to analyze it. You can look at it and know that it was a Popeyes biscuit.
I'm so glad I'm a pan dulce girl.
You're what?
I'm so glad I'm a pan dulce girl, so I don't have to like I stopped to suffer through it, but at least I don't have to be like actively participating in it.
You listen. I mean, one look, it's like Popeyes
No,
in the discussion.
no, I do
Love
no.
that biscuit from Popeyes.
No, give me a bolillo with some leftover ham, and I'm good.
Well, they didn't have
Damn.
oil in the cancellation of the amalgamation, in the insensitation.
Did you even just say words?
Yes, Araceli, I did. I use big words, so don't come for me, Argentina. So the first group of people that we'll talk about is EJ and Nicole and Eric Salone and Anna and Tony.
I love how basically Anna's life is day drinking.
I love it in Tony's life.
Playing mahjong, and then consoling the younger ones with their drama versus having drama herself.
And then a nice dinner. That's cooked for
exactly.
you.
And then go down for dinner, and having a man like Tony, who really I feel like gave EJ a lot of like some really good like Tony. I was like, wow, Tony's like a real man, like making sure your woman's happy. And asking her if I forgot what he said, like rather than what she's keeping from you, making sure she's happy. And if she's not, why? Rather than, why are you keeping a secret from me?
It was like okay. She doesn't have to tell me how much she paid for that hideous crystal lamp. She doesn't have to tell me how much money she spent shopping that day.
Yeah.
And then EJ was like, well, what do you want to know? Is she happy?
Yes.
That's when the music changed.
His explanation was the bougie, very rich version of, a couple that, you have your couple that, you do things together. You have the things that you do together that you love together. And then you have your own things.
Mm-hmm.
And then you come back together. And that's a healthy relationship.
Mm-hmm. Can we talk about Eric and Nicole?
Oh, do you want to talk about Eric and Nicole, or do you want to talk about the shower scene?
All of it. First of all, everyone hallucinating on the biscuit was hilarious.
Yeah.
It was very funny.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I also felt like this was Day's way of kind of fixing some things quickly, if that makes sense. So like, for example, we'll get to this next, but like Lee and Gabby, like instead of dragging that out, like this was just a way for them to be like poop poop, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I feel like this was a way to kind of add some drama, but kind of clean up some stuff, to kind of
for that storyline. Yes, they used it to kind of wrap that up. For the other ones, though, I feel like nothing was really wrapped up. It was just not
wrapped up, but kind of wrap up, stir things in like a different direction, right?
I think I get what you're trying to say. Where it kind of so specifically for Eric and Nicole, it kind of from my perspective, it felt like it solidified that they will always have chemistry. Nicole said flat out, "We will always have chemistry."
But then they still have feelings for each other.
But
they still have feelings for each other. They still want to be together. They are denying it. And
she made the point that it doesn't change the reasons that they broke up. That they are in two different places.
Well, then they need to get back together and go to couples therapy. They clearly want each other. They clearly want to be together. They are forcing themselves. They are each forcing themselves into other relationships that they know in their hearts they don't want to be in. This is exactly what Nicole did with Rafe. And I feel like she's doing it again with EJ. Maybe it's a little more organic with EJ than it was with Rafe. Mm-hmm. With Rafe, I feel like she really forced it and went like full steam ahead. But at least with EJ, there's probably a little bit of chemistry and some attraction there. But Eric and Nicole clearly still want to be together. They're just resisting and going their own way. And then,
which is why they ended up having sex while they were. I'm sorry. No, they had sex.
Yeah, they had
while
sex.
they
And there was
were
some way to
hallucinating.
clearly the way she was like, oh no, it was clear that we did, and I was like, what does that mean?
But it
I don't
also
think we can discuss that.
but it also again along the same line is it also brought out the fact that Salome. Wait, people are always saying that I'm saying her name wrong.
You say Salone.
It
I don't
Yeah.
know
has
if
like
it's
an
slow.
extra
Yeah,
vowel.
it's slow.
Sorry,
Slow. Yeah, but whatever.
Sloan. It brought out in Sloan that she wants a relationship with
Yeah.
Eric.
You know,
Like
that I did like.
she doesn't want to be the booty call anymore. Like she really wants to have a relationship with Eric. But I mean, to be honest, I think Eric started falling out of that whole situation when, like, while he say, and this is my opinion, while she says like, no, I had nothing to do with trashing Paulina's office or sending the text or sending that letter. I think Eric is kind of like, girl, you crazy.
I
Oh,
think,
I
yeah,
agree.
I agree with you,
100%.
Tony. I think the fun of it is worn off,
Yeah.
and realizing that is sort of like the I feel like he's forcing it more with Sloane than Nicole is with EJ. I feel like with
Yeah.
Nicole and EJ, it's much more organic, and I feel like unfortunately it's the unresolved feelings with Eric that's getting in their relationship, because I actually prefer them together. And
I like Eric. I like Nicole and EJ together, but it's just
Yeah.
clear, like, and I don't have hopes of EJ and Nicole working out. You know, if there's still that underlying, the underlying feelings that are clearly still there for Eric, no matter how much she resists because of how much they hurt each other when they're together. But
Yeah. It does seem like both those relationships are doomed, but I will never protest someone being brave. And Sloane asking for what she wanted was brave for her. It's not something that
say
she's
what
used
you
to
want to
doing.
say.
No, I know, because she's so used to shutting out the world. She is so used to it's why she does booty calls. It's why she, does, no strings attached relationships. She clearly had monsters for parents who had no level of intimacy between them, and probably for her. So she has no, examples of healthy relationships in her life yet. But Eric seems to now want that. And it's definitely doomed, but that doesn't mean it's any less brave for her to say, this is what I'm feeling and this is what I want. How do you feel?
Yeah.
Bless her heart.
I feel like Sloane has a very hard exterior because I think really inside she's very much a softie. And I feel like once you're in, she just doesn't want to be hurt. So she comes across as this very like, hard, edgy woman.
Hard
But
for her to get her guard down, yeah.
Yeah, but once her guard is down, and I feel like too, if she just lets go of this whole Paulina and Chanel thing, like, girl, life will be so much better and stress free. Now let's talk about the shower scene. So, many thoughts going on while this scene was happening. First off was, and I don't know why I do this. First off was kudos to production design for creating two different showers.
I know, right?
Kudos to production for having like the body wash and all that kind of stuff in Nicole's shower, and like everything is
nothing
down
in
at
Eric's.
the bottom in Eric's. Kudos to like if they were able to make it hot water. They didn't look cold at all. So kudos to that. Kudos to the different shower heads. Like there were so many different things that I was like, okay, they had different pressures of water. But I will say I felt like I was watching it like this. Like at first I was just like,
yeah.
It was
very, very risque.
It was very risque.
Yeah.
It was very, but it was all tactfully done.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
And
Tastefully,
it gave that I feel like that 80s, early 90s, like steamy, like soap opera, like ooh la la kind of moment.
With nipple covers.
Yeah.
Well,
There were nipple
Yeah.
covers
Yeah.
involved.
She was
I mean, yeah, I'm saying there were, but I'm also like,
this was Peacock. I think this is the Peacock that we're getting. This is
Yeah.
their influence. This is the sensors moving the needle a little bit, to the left, and
it was
this is what
it
we're
was
getting. Yeah.
it really gave that moment of just how what they were thinking and the intensity of Eric and Nicole and the sensualness of their connection and everything like that, to just have to like go and take a shower and then they close their eyes and like ooh and I was like shoo, I want to be kissing the tattoo of Greg Vaughn too.
Well, that's anytime. That's not. You don't need a shower scene to induce.
Well, also kudos to hair and makeup for like when Greg was in Nicole's shower or when Nicole was in Greg's shower, that when they appeared, it was like slick back hair. Like just, and I was just like, yes, you better come through in this shower. Just, and that the showers were big enough to hold two. Now granted, try filming that in everybody else's bathroom, honey. It would be like,
It was funny because when Nicole went in hers, I was like, okay, makes sense. And then Eric went in his, I was like, that's not in the Brady house. Like that bathroom does not exist anywhere in the Brady residence.
but it was really good. It was very well done. It was definitely a moment that I think we all were like, shoot, let me go take a shower.
Yeah.
Now ain't nobody gonna appear in my shower. I know that.
Well,
Araceli, what did you think of the shower scene?
I kind of thought like you. I was like I was all in the production design mode because all of a sudden I was like, wait a second, that's stainless steel. Wait a second, those are real shower heads. Wait, there's multiple shampoos. And then I'm like, because it's just like it's because I've worked behind the scenes on this stuff, so it's like that's all the stuff I immediately noticed. And then when they showed the pullback shot of Ari and Greg together, and I was like, oh no, there were nipple covers involved. So it's just where my mind goes.
I mean, yeah.
if you ever want to hear about nipple covers, people call Araceli on her landline.
Shut up. You were so stupid.
No, I'm sorry, but even just like trying to get dressed for an event, you always have to say, I'm sorry, girls have it worse because you always have to pick like the right bra that goes with the right dress.
Oh.
It's stressful.
That is sometimes my dilemma. And John Del Rey, you are correct. The one of the hottest shower scenes was Jay and Abigail.
Yes.
I know. Now, okay, so now that we have these shower sets, how many times are we going to see these showers now?
Well, they have
Salem
the
will never.
set.
Salem's never been cleaner. Never gonna be clear. Everyone's gonna be taking
now we
showers
have the
now.
tub at John and Marlena's, and we were off. We didn't get to talk about that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, true.
I loved that.
Well, that don't mean we're gonna talk about it now.
No, but in terms of in terms of from a production design standpoint, I was like, man, Deidre must have gone to work work that day, and you know that tub was not lukewarm.
Yeah,
she must have I get to go to work and I get to take a bath. This is great.
Kudos to her for just even doing it.
Yeah, but yeah, like if they're gonna put money into the new bath and the new showers, yes, they have to use them.
Well, you just have to hand it to production that, like, they're not in a space where they're just kind of using the same things over and over again. And if they do, they've always done a great job at like shifting and masking and doing
dressing
all that kind of
set.
stuff. Yeah,
redressing the set or whatever it's called.
But that, like, they really put in the time to this, obviously, to really look like, have them on opposite ends, have it different colors. I mean, granted, it could have been the same box. And they
I
just went in
assume it
there and they
was,
just
yeah.
changed, what they needed to change. But kudos to doing that. You know what I mean? Like it's
Oh,
not
that's true. Yeah.
it's not an easy task. So shout out to Tom Early and his team for letting us live the fantasy, honey.
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
We appreciate that. Speaking of fantasies, we're gonna move on to Lee, Gabby, Stefan, and Melinda and our aftermath of the hallucinating biscuit. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I have always felt bad for Lee. I've always had.
I go back and forth.
I he and this week especially he tugged at my heartstrings because when he number one, and thank God this didn't happen. I was
Oh
so
yeah.
I was so scared. I was like, oh my God, please don't let this man
Yeah, we
while
talked
she
about
thinks
that
it's
last week.
Stefan.
Yeah.
Like, please don't let this happen. And he didn't. He was like, no. And in his speech, he was like, I love you too much, and I would never take advantage of you. But what I realized is the way you looked at me when you thought I was Stefan made me realize that I would never have you. Like I would never have your heart. And just watching him come to that realization and be okay with just being like, listen, I'm done with this. Let's let it go. I was like, whew, because if I had to deal with 6 months of them trying to sneak around and do all this stuff,
Yeah.
I was not going to be able to
Uh,
deal with that. But and you could tell also, and I don't know if this was just a blocking choice or if it was, again to evoke feeling. The fact that he never turned around to
Yeah.
watch her leave
Yeah.
Yeah.
made such an impact because it was like, I know this is the end and it's going to be so painful to see her walk away. Now, in true Gabby fashion, she was like,
And the
but how
shares.
about them Demir shares? And he was like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And he never even, he didn't even turn around then.
Yeah.
And then finally, when the door closed, he turned around. I think it was a moment of like, that's it.
Yeah. Now she's
The love of my life is gone to the love of her life. And that was like,
This was definitely one of Remington's best weeks on the show. I
Mhm.
felt you
Yeah.
felt what he was feeling, and I think
Yeah.
the other week was like soon after we found out he was pulling all the stunts, shows, and shenanigans.
Yes,
Is that what you
yes.
say, Tony?
Stunt shows and shenanigans.
Yeah, when he started to get into like bad Lee.
Mhm.
But I've always said it. Lee just is. Not, he wants to be bad. He's just not good at it.
I want to be.
He just can't. He wants to have that Demira edge, and he just does not have it.
Yeah.
Makes me feel so good.
I was getting scared, especially like the last few weeks with him, because I felt like they were building up to this like really possessive thing coming, and it started to actually I realized why it was making me so uncomfortable. It actually started to make me think of Nick and how Nick started acting those last few years, and I was like, where are they taking this character? Are we getting a send off for him? Is he going to do something really dangerous and scary? And then I'm just glad that, like you guys, that he went in a different direction during the biscuit thing. I sort of think, I don't know, I haven't always thought he's a good guy. I feel like we romanticize him when he was guest starring. Every 5 months he'd pop up for like an episode and we thought he was cute in, but ever since he's been a regular cast member, he's done nothing but horrible things. I'd be interested in where do we go with him now? And I mentioned this last week. I think it might be an interesting thing if he can get over his heartache to team up with them. Because where does he go from here now? Like he's still kind of around Demira. He has the Demira shares.
He has the shares, yeah.
He has Wendy. He there's ways. Watching him pick up the pieces, I think, will be interesting. Watching him pine over Gabby has not been interesting. It's been, like you said, borderline stalkerish. Watching him finally mature, finally accept reality, and then learn to pick up the pieces and focus on things that matter, that's important.
The chat room wants to see Melinda and Lee.
No thanks.
I can't see it.
It's
Yeah,
not a
I
match.
didn't. Yeah, no.
I can't
I
see
don't
it.
know.
I do think that Melinda needs someone. I do think she needs.
I'd be open to them like testing it. You know what I mean? Like if they and see how it like we're saying no. Like, well, I'm not saying no. I think I'd be open to it because I think it could work if it was done right. But I do think the power balance would be a little off in that relationship with Melinda being like here and like the brass tacks, and then Lee again wants to be up there, but he just doesn't have it in him. He tries, but it just doesn't work.
But my question is this: at what point did
And the two
Melinda
actors.
start having feelings for Stefan?
She always did.
There was a scene back when Tyler Christopher and the previous actress that played Melinda, they had a scene in the job. It wasn't.
No,
What
it
was
was
that place
Doug's
called?
place. Doug's place.
Doug's place.
Yeah.
At the bar where they kind of were flirtatious, and
Yeah.
it never really went anywhere after that. But they kind of brought that back up.
Girl, that was such a blimp in the. That was such a blimp in
It was
the.
a blip in the radar, but they brought it. They brought it
had
back
a crush. It was a crush.
Oh, that's so sad to like
I
have
love
a crush.
Tina and slash Melinda. Like
Yeah.
they definitely. I want her to have a front burner story, and if it is with Lee, then it's with Lee. But
I'm all for more Melinda. I think this was, I know if they were testing the waters and just putting her out there and showing a different side of her, but keep that going because I think Tina is so capable of so much more than what they give Melinda and that archetype. But I actually wouldn't mind like Lee and Sloane. I thought they had great chemistry when they were sort of teamed up together.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I actually would, if we're gonna move Lee on with someone, I wouldn't mind him with her. I thought they had good chemistry. But more Melinda just in general and more facets to her and not just, the DA who never wins a case or always gets to like, give her more to do. She's capable of it.
No. All right. Well, Lee's out of the picture. Gabby and Stefan are together.
And they did leave that door open that was mentioned in the chat room where she made it clear to Stefan she's going to want a favor. Yeah. So the door's open for her to
remember that favor.
Yeah. Remember that to cash in is what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
And who knows what that'll be.
That'll be fun.
I did have a moment where I was like, oh, this could open the door to like Melinda becoming like Sammy level obsessed with Stefan, and then it can be like a Stefan Gabby Melinda.
Nah.
Okay. Be more open, Araceli.
It just didn't. It just wouldn't feel organic. And let's be clear: Sammy level obsessed is a very specific level of obsessed.
Plus, I don't know if it would play very well because Sammy's obsessions, I feel like it played better because she was young, and for not Sloane. Who am I talking about? Melinda. For Melinda, she's like a mature, powerful woman.
That's why it wouldn't work.
May not make sense for her to be to be pining over a man like that. She don't need a man.
No. Then that's what we have Kristen for.
Bingo. Okay, true.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just a moment where I was like, oh, because I think she would play that well, but would it make sense character-wise? Maybe not.
Well, good luck to all. And now Gabby and Stefan can be together. Melinda and Lee will be mending their hearts, and we will see how Gabby and Stefan plan on taking over the world. Is Gabby and Stefan in North? Do. Boom, boom. Before we get into more before we get into more biscuit aftermath, I just want to quickly remind everyone to make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. Make sure you also subscribe to our YouTube channel and find us on your favorite podcast station under DIshin Days. And make sure you buy yourself some merch. Do something nice for yourself. All right. More aftermath. We have Rafe, Abe, Jada, Chanel, and what is it?
Talia.
Yeah.
Kudos to Rafe for just being like, under the influence, I kissed Jada.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And again, the biscuit kind of propelled, something else, in Rafe and
Because they
Jada.
got
Like,
feels for each other.
they do
Yeah.
have the feels.
They don't want to have feels for each other, but they do.
Because the way that, shout out to Ilia Cantu for her look in Rafe's hallucination, because she was like,
We talked about that last week. I was like, why does Rafe got to be that man that imagined her as like full on stripper? I was like,
because
come on, Rafe.
they had to have a complete contrast to.
I was just like, I guess if that's the.
Well, listen, would you rather see it on Jada? Or would you rather see it on Duke the Bear?
Give me a minute.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
So there's that. Do we really think Talia did it?
We know she did it.
No, she did.
Mhm.
Yeah. Wait, what do you mean?
We saw a flashback where it was her, and we saw her face and everything.
See, there was a part of me that felt like I was like, is she hallucinating? Like, does she have a biscuit?
Oh, did she take some? And
well,
No.
we know she did it. We just don't know why, and we were saying we don't know if what happened to everyone was what she intended also. So it could be that where she spiked it, but they did have her looking weird, so I don't know, maybe it was, but we don't know if she was trying to do something else and it backfired, and that's the result of her spiking it.
Yes, we can be pretty sure she did do it because they had that scene of like, oh, there's security cameras in the kitchen, and I'm so sorry, I forgot to turn them on. Yeah,
and I was like, that didn't. Well, and I guess I had to rationalize it that okay, Jada didn't pick up on that because this is her sister.
Yes,
she's not gonna like another investigator may be like, oh, you just conveniently forgot to turn on the security cameras.
Yeah, but then
maybe it'll come
Chanel
up later.
Wouldn't.
But
yeah, and then people would be like, well, why didn't Chanel? Why didn't Chanel immediately suspect Talia?
Mm-hmm.
Well, because one, she doesn't know Talia that well, and that could go both ways. She could be immediately suspicious or immediately embrace her, and she's fully admitted that she doesn't turn the cameras on all the time. That she forgets.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. And I'll eat crow later if I'm wrong. In true Days fashion, and even in New Days fashion, they're never quick to reveal who did it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what also led me to
Is that what's
believe,
tripping you up?
It led me to, because number one, it wasn't clear, because Friday's episode, when they showed that reveal, everyone was still hallucinating, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to have this one moment of reveal, it just didn't seem right to me. Like you have all these people hallucinating, you have all these different scenarios happening, but then this one moment in time is going to be the truth. Where because my brain was still like, everything in this episode is based on everyone hallucinating, and everyone is off their rockers, and everyone is losing their mind, and including like Talia being like, did I do it? That's how I felt it. So I'm just going to say, I don't think it was her. I'll eat crow later if I'm wrong, but I just don't think it was her.
Well, I think it's just your perspective, Tony. Justin, you want to go?
I was going to say, I think I understand what you're saying, Tony, but I think that's not the reveal. I think the reveal is coming, and there are some theories out there of what the reveal is.
Yeah, I have mine too, but I don't think it's her.
No. The reveal is something else. The reveal is it's her, but there's something else behind it.
Yes. In other words, when you're talking about when they don't automatically reveal who did it, you're assuming the it in this the crime in question in this scenario is just the Dos biscuits.
Yeah.
What the larger theory is that they're the whole that this is one part that Talia is a part of the larger scheme of who is trying to take down Chanel and Sloan. And that's the larger question, because Chanel thinks that Sloan sabotaged the bakery. Sloan thinks that Chanel sabotaged her own bakery, is framing it for it. and everybody is pretty much theorizing that they're both wrong, that there is a third party out there out of this larger scheme, and Talia is not that third party, that she is just one small part in this larger scheme.
Well, then I'm just gonna wait, but that I have my suspicions.
Well, we've actually talked about ours. Do you want to give us yours, Tony?
No.
Okay.
What, you don't want to be wrong?
I just as of right now, I don't think that is her. I have an idea just based on what we were told back in December.
Yeah.
We've talked about
That's what we
same.
said. And actually, I think I've heard that we might get answers this week.
All right. Well.
Yeah, there's an article out there. Y'all can Google it.
Yeah, that we think that it's what, Tuesday, I think. Yeah.
Sure.
So watch out for that.
But we'll see. Okay, so that's enough of them. And then we're gonna breeze through all these other ones. Johnny, Wendy, and Trip.
Aww.
Girl, Miss, why doesn't anyone want to listen to explanations?
And why
Wendy?
do people listen to Allie?
Allie.
Allie's name was brought up again. And the only
Mhm.
reason I'm bringing it up is because it was brought up again, and I'm sick of it.
In what way was she brought it? It might
Wendy
have been
keeps
doing
bringing
it
it up about Johnny.
They're like his
What?
twin.
Oh,
Wendy brought it up.
what
Yes.
Allie said about.
And
Okay.
I'm sick of it. I am so sick of it.
Are you sick of it?
I'm sick of it. You know, Johnny's a
You
player.
should call
Even his
Dr.
twin
Araceli's
sister-
office.
Even his twin sister said so. His twin sister is on the other side of the world. We don't need to be talking about her anymore. We don't need to be discussing, you know, what she thinks anymore.
Well, here's the thing. Johnny texts her and explained to her what happened. Wendy, pick up a newspaper and read what happened.
Mhm.
And listen,
I'm
just
sure Trip would have heard too what was going. Even though he's in Seattle, he worked at that hospital. I'm sure he would have gotten like
an
there's a
emergency
group
email.
text- There's a
Somebody sent
group
an
text
article.
of like doctors or hospital people where they're like, "Yo, did you hear everyone's coming in tripping balls?"
Or like, hey, anybody eat at Sweet Bits today? Child.
Go get the biscuits now.
Child. Anyway, so listen, Wendy, just date them, figure it out later who you like to be with. There's that. Next, Xander's boob gets darted. Do we? I really
was
should
I?
remember these polls. Are we Team Xander and Chloe?
I'm not
We're
against
liking
it.
it more and more.
I'm not against it. The reasons why it wouldn't work have been addressed, and Chloe is getting over it. So
Well, mainly because she got left with Mateo, but that was a different Xander.
Right, and it's been addressed, and she, you know, it's not like she was so easily persuaded by him. She did, you know, resist, and yeah, I'm going along for the ride.
Yeah.
Is it a forever couple? No. Is it a little blimp in the road? Sure.
I am 50-50 okay, even if it just stays a friendship. I am pro Chloe not being in this endless circle of Brady doom and gloom.
Yeah.
Chloe having fun. I am pro Chloe having fun. And if Xander can provide some fun, power to them.
Well, he always provides fun,
Yeah.
Nicole.
Yes.
Wanna flock?
And then because Michael Maddis really wants to talk about this, the Alex and Marlena scene.
Exactly. I'm like, fine.
For me, they took it a step too far after he later calls her back and was like, "I want to be your patient." It was like, really?
I'm like, this.
Are you the guy that
like,
really
what?
goes to therapy and wants to like be a patient after once that like?
This didn't track for me, but
Yeah.
maybe I need to see more and see how
No.
it plays out.
No.
Okay.
No. It doesn't
No, I
track
mean,
for
I-
anybody. Alex Kyriakis is not Ben Weston. They're two different characters in two different lanes. Keep them there.
At least I will say I am glad that when that man walked into her office, she wasn't like, "You look just like blah blah blah." Like it wasn't acknowledged, and so I was like, "All right, this is okay. This is okay with Michael Mattis."
I just wish they found a more organic way of putting them together. If you really wanted these two actors in scenes together, find a different way that isn't related to the other character he played. Make him like a liaison for the hospital with Titan or something like that, or you do it in a different way.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was your week of days, and now we're going to go into our favorite part of the show, which is our segment, and we're going to start with mine with bringing it back after 3 weeks. It's Tony's official 3 Snaps Award. All right. So listen. We have always joked about Marlena being, I'm Dr. Marlena Evans. And there was never a moment this week that reminded you of just who she is. Take a look.
Appreciate that. Yo, I'll tell you one thing, though. It was great meeting the famous Dr. Evans.
I know.
When she said, I know, I
like,
died. I was like, yes, because who is she? The infamous Dr. Marlena Evans Black. And for that, Deidre Hall, Marlena Evans, gets Tony's official 3 Snaps Award because let me tell you, bitch, you better know who I am.
You better know.
I don't know. I still see Michael making facial expressions at Alex's reaction afterwards. I was right. I was right.
All right, y'all, and now it's time for Caption That.
Excuse me. All right, this week's Caption That photo comes courtesy of Chloe playing darts with Xander's chest, and this week's caption goes to Manny B175 on Instagram with his caption of Xander saying, Chloe, this is not how to play pin the tail on the Scotty. Paul Telfer chimed in, as he usually does, with his caption, a little prick never hurt anyone.
Oh.
Very true. Speaking of captions, I meant to mention this earlier, but I'm gonna post this on our Instagram, and I want everyone to caption this. Michael Madison. Wait. Oh, can I do it? I can do it. I want everyone to caption this. Just look at this moment. So it gave very much Real Housewives of Salem turnaround. So I would like you guys to caption what Andrew Donovan's tagline would be if he were a Real Housewife of Salem. I'll post it on our Instagram, and you let us know. And that has been Caption That. And
I may be a Donovan, but it don't mean I don't need a man.
Nah.
Yeah.
I mean, because Donovan,
No, it wasn't good. Let's just go past it.
No, it was fine.
I didn't realize how bad until I said it out loud.
Well, you know what? You tried.
Yeah.
You know what it's time for?
Those were the days.
Everyone, I'm taking you back to April 20th, 1987, where Bo Hope and an infant Sean first left Salem to sail around the world. I thought this was fitting considering what we have going on. And the fact that, shout out that we still have all the same players who are still on this show almost 40 years later. Christian, Peter, Stephen, and Mary Beth. And everything that we've got this week with putting them together, especially sort of the old guard, and then to have this memory popped up. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how all this pans out in the next couple of weeks because we still don't know. But yeah, that was April 20th, 1987, when Bo, Hope, and infant Sean left Salem to sail around the world.
And
Those Those were the days.
And now it's time for It's a Gift.
And this week's It's a Gift goes to the lovely Miss Chloe Lane and her expression, which I think would be all of our expressions. If someone dared to
Slap
knock,
a Popeye's biscuit out of my hand. Yeah.
well, just to deny me sustenance after I haven't eaten all morning. There will be no intermittent fasting here. That's just wrong.
Same.
That's just wrong. It's like knocking an ice cream cone out of a kid's hand as soon as he gets it.
Oh.
It's just wrong.
But
Depends on the kid.
But you have to think this. Why didn't she just do this? Oh, she had the other piece.
She was shocked that somebody
No.
just slapped her hand.
Let me tell you something. Being a foodie connoisseur, see, I use big words too. I would have just went for my left hand, on my right hand. Use both the daddy's hands.
He's both the daddy's hands. Knock, knock.
You don't even want to.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Boom.
Oh, God.
Anyways, Miss Chloe Lane, I feel ya.
And
I'd
that
buy you a
was
brand new biscuit.
It's a Gift.
Non-hallucinogenic.
Oh, and now it's time for news and gossip.
Welcome back, everyone. We are starting off with some really fun, kind of just heartwarming casting news. If you haven't heard by now, the legendary 97, 98-year-old Dick Van Dyke is going to be guesting on the show this fall. I'm guessing timing-wise, it'll probably be what is considered November sweeps, just a guess. But yeah, he's going to be playing an older man who's has amnesia and sort of has a run-in with John and Marlena, and so there's a plot there. We'll find out. But yeah, it was so nice just to see the cast really excited about Dick Van Dyke. Everyone was posting about it, and I guess this came about because Dick and Drake Hogestyn go to the same gym, and Dick is always teasing him about getting him a role on the show, and I guess Drake finally made it happen, and so yeah, he will be guesting this fall. So the legendary Dick Van Dyke, who still looks great and is acting in his 90s, is going to be on Days of Our Lives. So look
Okay,
I believe
Justin's
this
being
is-
very kind about this. This is Dick Van Dyke!
yeah.
Got it.
And this is the volume that you'd use for Dick Van Dyke.
Well, is the volume? Never mind.
The guy was in freaking Mary Poppins.
Jeez.
Dancing's on a table in his 90s. If you do, he does workout videos. You could see him do sit-ups. This is Dick Van Dyke, people. I'm sorry.
Araceli,
I think the greatest
later-
people are in their 90s.
Later on, I want you to go back and replay this and just look at us and look at you.
There is look.
But I'm
all
happy
the
you're
people
excited.
who-
We're happy you're excited.
Yeah.
It is
The
a big
people who
deal.
live into
It is a
their
big deal.
90s, everybody loves. Dick Van
He was on
Dyke,
an episode of The
Julie
Golden Girls.
Andrews. Yes, he was on. Yes, Julie Andrews, I think, is 89. Rita Moreno. Oh God, I'm forgetting her name.
This is also his first soap gig.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes. To have a first in your 90s, you're almost 100, and this is a first for you. Get excited, people.
Mhm.
Justin, I think you should have. Wait, who? Justin, you did this. You did the first one, right? You did this.
He always does.
Did
the
I?
same thing.
You should have probably gave it to Araceli. I honestly think also just looking at this picture, and I thought when I saw this in our rundown, I feel like this was filmed last Friday because I swear Carson is on his way to Jersey.
I know he's like on his way to the
Yeah.
airport.
Yeah.
You know, heading to Burbank Airport to
Yeah.
go to
Yeah.
wherever they're playing. Chicago, or where were they? Chicago.
No. I
Detroit?
think this was last
Well,
week.
Yeah.
Oh. when he was
And
on
right
his way
after
to
he
New
filmed,
Jersey.
he head to Jersey.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So, anywho's it's
Good.
All right. Well, congratulations, Dick Van Dyke. And moving on.
Okay. We will be moving on to not exactly equal exciting news, but still very exciting news that Dan Furgal is officially an American citizen. Yay!
Yay.
Congratulations. Now he can go back and forth between the two countries without having to deal with that pesky visa paperwork. Yay.
Welcome to America.
Yeah.
God bless America. Lift every voice.
Lord.
You kind of have to do both.
Yeah. I agree.
Next up in our Days edition of Party Girls, this week some of our favorite actresses from Days have been out on the town having fun. We have one of Victoria Konefeld here at Coachella weekend too. Another one we have Martha and Tina, who are actually really good friends and always out. Go check out their Instagrams. They are always at a fun dinner or a fun night out. And then Miss Ely Cantu, who has been the party girl of the last month at all the Peacock premieres. And her and Camilla are at one for the show from, I guess, their new season is starting in a kickoff party. So they got together and had some fun the other night.
See, maybe this is a new segment. Days stars, they're just like us.
Night on a town. I'm not going to Coachella.
Oh no, I would
Hell
never
no.
go to Coachella.
Hell no.
No
No.
one
Hell
who
no.
lived here is willingly fighting their way to Coachella.
No, thank you.
There's some
No.
people.
Yeah, the Coachella's
there's
full of
some-
tons
I was
of
like,
people from
there's
LA. What are you
several
talking
people like
There's-
went to
No, these
Coachella.
are the people who don't know the word
Well, under 30,
relax.
but
And they're like, once the tourists clear out, it's so nice.
All right, next up. Oh, is that who is it?
Oh, that is me. I'm sorry. So next up, we have, oh my gosh, there's a lot of Salem events going on. Okay, so we're going to start with this one that is coming up in October called Punta Cana. It's hosted by Rick Springfield, October 5th through 9th. And it's going to include from Days World, Mr. Eric Martzoff, and then we have Doug Davidson from WNR. And this is going to be fun, but you do have to fly. But I think it'll be a good time. Then next up, we have the Starstruck Oktoberfest, which is going to be in Orlando, Florida, October 21st through the 22nd. In attendance will be Ari Zucker, Eric Martzoff, Mike Manning, Judy Evans, you had Matthew Ashford, and what's his name? The John Chrisman. I'm sorry, their names are right there. Duh. So it's going to be in October. That actually looks like a lot of fun. You never know.
yeah. Oktoberfest.
Yes.
The theme stuff is always, I think, it has an element to it, which leads us to Party in Vegas, which is going to be August 19th. And we talked about how this one's like a little bit pricier, but it looks like they have a lot of activity. So it's really going to, so that might be worth the price of admission. See Eric Martzoff, Brian DiTillo, Dan Furgal, Stacey Hyduke, and I keep
Brandon
forgetting-
Beamer.
Brandon Beamer. Thank you. Yes. And yeah, like I said, what's included? It's 1, 2, 3 events. Yeah. That looks fun. That's worth a trip to Vegas if it's included. It's like comparing like if you pay for on your own versus if it's in a bundle. Then we have 2 Spectrum celebrity events coming up. The first is going to be with Mike Manning. It's going to be this coming Friday, April 28th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. These are one-on-one Q&As with the actors. You get to interact with them. There's still tickets for that one, as well as the one this coming Saturday with Stacey Hyduke, which will be at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Time. Please go to SpectrumCelebrityEvents.com for tickets and details.
Yes, just a little add-on for that. They are running a special now, I believe 50% off in honor of Stacy and Mike's birthdays. So they're doing like a birthday special. So if you are on the fence about going and can decide, they are currently running a 50% special. It's for a limited time, so go check it out and get your tickets.
And both will be hosted by me. So you guys come on. It's a lot of fun. You get to there's a lot of I know that it's virtual, but there's a lot of interaction with Mike and with Stacey. You get to ask a question, you get to like be in the room with other people. And I make it a lot of fun. So come on over. Come on over, baby.
Baby.
Speaking of Mr. Tony Moore's host,
it's me.
Yes, you had a fun weekend last weekend.
I could have sent you these pictures.
Care to share?
Yes. So last weekend we were in Morristown, New Jersey, for the Starstruck fan event, Beyond Salem. It featured Billy Flynn, Zach Tinker, Greg Rickard, Dan Furigel, Carson Boatman, Leanne Hundley, and Teo Pinglis and Eric Martzoff. It was a really big group of people. Lots of fans. Got to meet a lot of different people, including people who are familiar with our show. So shout out to Jen and Renee and some other people that came up and said, "Oh my God, I watch your show all the time," and including the one person who said, "Oh my God, I didn't realize you guys still do it." It was a lot of fun. The first photo that you see was from our first night. Billy, Zach, Greg, and I. There was an escape room across from our hotel. And after dinner, we ventured over there and did an escape room together. There's another picture that I didn't post. It was like there was another group with us, and so we were all like figuring it out together, and we escaped. So it was fun. It was fun also just like having a moment to really like get to know them even more, to interact with Zach more and Greg more. Billy and I have known each other for quite some time, so it was a great trip. It was a lot of fun. So if you guys have an opportunity, I mean, we tell you guys, opportunities to meet the stars of Days, and I know that a lot of times it could look pretty pricey. However, I think the experience is great. So if you can. Just try to go out to one. It's an amazing experience, and please don't message these people and say come to your specific town. If you are in driving distance of one, just go to that one. just go to that one. It's simple. But thank you, Paul and Keith of Starstruck Fan Events, for having me come out and host. I truly appreciate that. Thank you for an amazing time.
And last but not least, our dear friend, Miss Marcy Miller, is starring in a new play in Louisville, Kentucky called The Helper. It sort of deals with relevant topical issues. They're actually setting up a GoFundMe to help subsidize the cost of doing the play. And link for the GoFundMe if you are interested in donating and have a little extra money. You can go check out Marcy's Instagram. It's @_Marcy Miller _. So yeah, go check it out. I'm sure Marcy will be great in it.
Yeah. Kudos to her. We miss Marcy.
Yeah.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to find out what is happening next week on Days of Our Lives.
Is it you? John, I can't believe it. Is Dad really alive?
If you don't know what my father is capable of, why the hell did you send my mother out there alone?
This is the end of the line.
Fancy face?
Whoa!
Just that moment of hearing him say "fancy face," it makes me realize he came too. I love it.
The itis wore off.
Ha! Well, you guys, that's it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to DIshin Days. We greatly appreciate you. Just to let you know, next week we will not be live. We will be pre-taped because we're busy. But we also know that we cannot not have a show because it is going to be a monumentous moment. So while we won't be live, we will be pre-taped, but we will premiere it live so that you guys can still come in the chat room and chat among yourselves as we give you our take on next week's episodes of Peacock's exclusive Days of Our Lives. But before we head out, Michael Mattis, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at MLMattis. See what Bimby's up to that day.
Yeah. Let me tell you, because one day Bimby was not having you.
That's every day.
Araceli, the two places that they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter and yes, now Instagram at Tia323 Araceli.
And still subscribing to Behind the Times. Justin, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Justin Lee Hareld.
Oh,
And
now
Instagram
don't
only.
do that. Oh, no. No, no. You hounded me for over a year. You don't get to do it to Justin. He is just perfectly happy with his one social media account.
And I am happy for him, which is why I'm saying he's still subscribed to Behind the Times. You can find all of us on all
Welcome
social
back,
media
Tony.
platforms. Thank you so much. I know you guys
Dick
missed
Van
me.
Dyke.
Dick Van Dyke. You guys can find us on all social media platforms. We're DIshin Days Show on Facebook, DIshin Days on Instagram, and DIshin Days on the Twitter. And of course, you can find Little Old Chocolate Me on all social media platforms, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter at Lounging with Tony. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We greatly appreciate you. And we'll see you back here next week where you'll chat among yourselves during our pre-tape show. Until then, you guys have an amazing week. Enjoy yourselves, and we'll see you back very soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.